Not this one.
Rapunzel's Heroes. The day started nicely enough. It was the morning of my 18th birthday, and the birds were singing. Just yesterday I'd taken a huge step. I had ventured out from the tall tower that had been my home all my life. And soon, if all went well, I would be in the kingdom for the first time, watching the beautiful floating lights that were released there every year on the same date, my birthday. It should have been a wonderful morning, but instead here I was, me, Rapunzel, trying to rescue my guide from a horse. I wasn't surprised that my guide had a problem with a palace horse. I'd only known Flynn a short while, but he had problems with almost everyone. So after I yanked Flynn free, I stepped in front of the horse and stroked his nose. The name on his chest plate read, Maximus. Maximus thought Flynn was a thief. And, alright, Flynn was a little misguided. Still, I hoped the horse wouldn't turn him over to the guards, at least not until I could see the lights. Today is kind of the biggest day of my life, I explained. It's also my birthday, just so you know. Finally, Maximus stuck out his hoof and Flynn shook it. Together we set off for the kingdom. Flynn thought we might travel faster if we rode on Maximus's back, but for some reason Maximus did not agree. Flynn tried again. He even managed to stay on top of Maximus's head for a few seconds. Then Maximus lowered his head and Flynn tumbled into the mud again. I don't like this horse, Flynn howled, and this horse doesn't like me. Finally, Flynn decided we'd travel faster if we just started walking. Do you have a problem with all horses? I asked. No, Flynn replied. When I was growing up in the orphanage, I dreamed of becoming a swashbuckling hero, and swashbuckling heroes love horses. No, it's this horse. He's the problem. As we walked, Maximus flicked his tail in Flynn's face, so Flynn poked Maximus in the ribs. Then Maximus stepped on Flynn's foot, and Flynn yanked on Maximus's bridle. I sighed. Those two just had to get along, or my special day would be ruined. Luckily, I had an idea. I know, I told Flynn. I'll teach you how to get along with Maximus. Flynn grumbled, but watched as I stroked Maximus under his chin. Then I scratched his ears. Pascal, who was sitting on Maximus's head, helped. See? I said, nuzzling Maximus's face. Now you do it. Ugh, no way, Flynn protested. That's just plain... Now, I commanded. I don't think I was too hard on them. Getting into the kingdom was a little tricky because Flynn was wanted by the palace guards. Maximus and Flynn managed it, though, by working together. The two were making good progress. I think Maximus was a little surprised as he watched Flynn that day. Maybe he realized Flynn wasn't so bad after all. Maximus still wouldn't let Flynn climb onto his back, though. That evening, when it was time to see the lanterns be released, Flynn surprised me by taking out a boat. He said that watching from the water would give us the best view. There was another surprise, too. Flynn gave a bag of apples to Maximus. The horse looked suspicious. What? I bought them, Flynn responded. Maximus whinnied happily as Flynn paddled away. Most of them, Flynn muttered under his breath. We didn't expect to be gone long. Maximus waited and waited. Finally, a boat bumped up against the dock. But it was a different boat, and it was only carrying Flynn, who was tied to the mast with a stolen crown in his lap. He seemed confused and was yelling, Rapunzel! Rapunzel! Maximus backed out of sight as the palace guards came forward and arrested Flynn. Maximus didn't know where I was, but he knew something had gone very, very wrong. Maximus raced away, but he wasn't leaving Flynn. He was going for help. With a lot of hoof stomping and loud snorting, Maximus convinced our friends at the Snuggly Duckling Tavern to follow him back to the castle. Waving their clubs and axes, they raced into the kingdom, broke into the prison, and freed Flynn. Of course, getting him out of the prison was another problem. But Maximus was ready and waiting. Together, Max and Flynn galloped through the streets, leaping over guards and dashing through the town's gates just as they were closing. Flynn could hardly believe that he was riding Max. Suddenly he realized he trusted the horse. They were a team. I won't explain everything that happened that day, but my life did change forever. Mother Gothel, who had imprisoned me, showed me her evil side. Then I learned my true identity. I was a princess that had been stolen from my parents long ago. But Flynn fought for me. To save me, he had to cut my long golden hair, but that didn't matter to me or to him. He loved me for myself. It was quite a day. Afterward, we could have ridden back to the kingdom, but Flynn wouldn't allow it. Instead, we walked. He ran all night, Flynn explained, as he patted Maximus. He's tired and needs a rest. Flynn paused. You know, I feel like a real hero today. Then he turned to Max. But you are an even bigger hero. If it weren't for you, Rapunzel and I wouldn't be here. Flynn and Max were both heroes, but just as important, they were friends.
I want this one.